Hello. For this exercise, we will use your answer to question 1 on worksheet 2. This question was, when was the first time you noticed there was a problem? If you're not able to remember such a time, then use your answers to question 2, which is any traumatic experiences that stay with you. These experiences are what we're looking for. Now, you need to prepare for this treatment. First, can I remind you to use one of the calming techniques from the treasure chest before we begin? Secondly, you will need to download and print out suggestions and imagery for personal strength. Now, get yourself a pen and some paper, as you will need to write some things down. Just pause the video while you do this, and then just resume by pressing the play button. And now, make yourself comfortable in your seat and let your eyes close. I'd like to begin by relaxing your body, because when your body's relaxed, your mind will follow. And we'll do this by using a breathing technique which will reduce the number of breaths you take, and so will calm your nervous system. You can start by breathing deeply in through the nose to a count of 4. This is not counting seconds, just a fairly quick count to 4. Then extend the out-breath to a count of 8, breathing out through the mouth. Continue breathing in this way. Allow your body to feel as if it's breathing itself, just steady and slow, a nice even rhythm. After 4 or 5 of these breaths, just allow your body to breathe naturally. Now I'd like you to see the time you've been alive as a line, starting at the time of conception, going on to the moment of birth, and then carrying on up to this moment in time, and also going on into the future. Just see that happening, and you are floating 2 or 3 inches above that line, so that you can move easily from place to place. And now take yourself back to that memory that you chose, watching yourself floating back along your timeline to that moment. I'll give you time to get there. So we're not going to jump straight into that experience. I'd like to make it safer for you first, but it will be safe enough to look down into that memory and write down what feelings come up as you recall that time. We're probably looking for about 4 or 5. Just seek about in your memory until you get them. If we package those feelings together in one bundle, how strong on a scale of 0 to 10 would that be as you feel them now, today? Just write that down. Now close your eyes again and take 2 or 3 of those extended breaths to settle yourself after writing. Now we've got that rating, I want to explain to you what this means. It means those feelings are still active today because you can feel them today. Can you see that? They are lurking about at the back of your mind, just waiting for your problem to arise. And then they'll come out and overwhelm you. So now we will deactivate them. Just take yourself back to a time before this incident when you were not feeling these feelings. Maybe it could be just a part of the day. It doesn't have to be a big party day. Just to some time when you are not feeling those feelings that you wrote down. I'll give you some time now to come up with something. If you need longer, then just pause. Now you're there, just look towards the original experience and let's check that you don't feel those feelings from your new position. Most commonly the answer is no. Now go to a time after the original incident. I'll give you time to find that, where you were not feeling those feelings. Again, if you need longer, just pause. And once again, look back to the original memory and let's double check that you don't feel those feelings while in this new position. Again, it's usually no, but if that's not true for you, write to me by replying to any email you've received from me and we'll clear this up on a phone call. I want all these feelings to be deactivated. Now it's time to float back to the original experience, that first memory. And now, as you look down, what might have changed about those feelings? Might they be less intense? Could they seem a bit cloudy? Or as if they're greyed out? Sometimes it seems just like a story now. If so, give a new rating to your original score. Write that down. And now let's finish this off by bringing it to 0. Just float up as high as you need until you've been able to allow those feelings to leave you. As you float up, keep your eyes on the original memory on your timeline. And as you go higher and higher, that experience will become tinier and tinier compared to the rest of your timeline. You might find it useful to see those feelings as packages tied around your waist with string. And there'll come a time when that string will just unravel and those packages will fall away. I'll give you time for that to happen. If you need more time, just pause. And now you can give yourself a rating of 0. And now it's safe to drop down into that original experience. So just drop down into your younger self's body. But take with you all of the maturity, all of the wisdom, and all streetwiseness that you've gathered since that time. If this experience was only recent, you will still find we mature constantly. So you will still have a different perspective. So once you're there in that memory, try to notice what new understandings you can get compared to when it happened. You were probably panicking at the time, so would be very stressed. But how does it feel to you now? Write down what you notice, what seems different. You might want to focus on your younger self. Was she already stressed? Or consider what happened afterwards, how soon the feelings went away, for example. It would be good to look for a couple of these things. And now you can open your eyes because we've got some talking to do. Look at what you wrote down and try to see how that could help you with the problem as it is now. I'll give you some suggestions. You might have written down that your younger self was already stressed. So next time there's a trigger incident for you, you can prepare yourself by using a calming technique from the treasure chest. If you wrote down that those feelings were soon gone, you can just remind yourself of that the next time you're triggered. Before we move on to the next part, let me tell you what I realised from specialising in anxiety and phobias. What I realised was that at the time of this memory, that version of you, however old you were, is still coming out now to try and help. However, the fact is they couldn't cope at that time. And of course they can't cope now. I don't have a way of stopping them coming out. But what we can do is give that previous self every personal strength, such as calm, courage, safety, protection, etc., so that they can cope well. We want them to be unfazed, untroubled entirely. So now just pause the video while you make a list of these personal strengths from what you've printed out and choose an image for each strength. You can also choose a person to take back, and I recommend you do this. Their job is to reassure your previous self. You can choose anyone. It doesn't matter if they're not still alive. It doesn't matter if you choose a current day friend who you didn't know then. We're using imagination so we can be magical. Then just gather everything up in one arm and link arms with your person and go back to that original memory. Then drop down into it once more. This time there will be two versions of you and your person.